Hi guys. So today I'm going to be doing a story time on the time my coach, like this was before I'm at the school I'm at now, pretty much harassed me because I wanted to transfer. So yeah. Okay, so basically I play volleyball in college, and if you play a sport you know how it is to get recruited, you go on visits. So I'm not going to say the name of the school or anything like that. A lot of you who are watching are probably my friends, so you probably already know. But I'm not going to say the name of the school or anything like that because I don't want to give away the name of the coach just for privacy reasons. I don't want to do that. I would feel really bad if I did that, even though he made my life hell. But yeah. So basically I chose a school in Minnesota. It was in the middle of nowhere. But when I went on my visit, I really liked the coaches, and I loved my team. I actually really did love my team. I really miss my team, and I get to see a lot of my friends because we're going to be playing against them in a tournament in the beginning of the season, which I'm super excited for because I absolutely loved. I can't tell you one person that I didn't like on that team. They made me feel so at home because I was so far away. I was 17 hours away. They made me feel so at home. I just loved it. I loved all the people, all my friends that I met, and I still keep in contact with a lot of the people that I met from there, even though it's been 3 years. And basically the only thing was I had a lot of stuff going on at home. My grandpa was very sick at the time. He passed away 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago. But he was very sick at the time. He had been sick for a while, and I always had to fly home. Those were a lot of the other aspects why I transferred. And my parents were having trouble. And so it's it was my stepdad and my mom. They were having trouble at home. So I felt like I needed to be there for my family in case anything happened. And that was one huge reason that I actually came home. But another huge reason, even if none of that happened, I would have transferred because this coach, there were two coaches. The girl coach, I absolutely loved. She was always there for me. I could talk to her about anything. She was a great coach. The male coach, however, I think he was one of the worst human beings I've ever encountered in my entire life. I love volleyball more than anything on this planet, literally more than anything. I used to love going to practice. I would look forward to going to practice because it would get my mind off everything. I still do now. But at the time, when I was playing for the school, I hated it. And this coach literally made me hate volleyball, made me regret playing in college. It was the worst experience, and I'm not exaggerating because 5 girls quit within a year. And if that doesn't say something, I don't know what does. The coach actually ended up getting fired, which, the coach actually ended up getting fired shortly after I transferred, and now they have a new coach. But he was just he was an atheist, which is fine. I have friends that don't believe in God or don't really have a faith, and that's fine, but they're great people. They're awesome people. He was one of those people who didn't believe in God, didn't have a faith, but would rub it in your face all the time and make it seem like it was because he was smarter than you, and he just was such a realist, and it was just okay, but I believe in God, and I have a strong faith, so why are you trying to sway me from that? I would never push my religion on you, so why are you trying to push what you don't believe in on me? I'm the type of person to spread love and spread positivity and spread my faith in a way that is right for me, but I would never push my faith on someone else that doesn't believe. And I just think that's so wrong. No matter if you believe or if you don't believe, you should never push that upon someone who does or doesn't believe. You know what I mean? So I just remember we were doing this drill one time, and it was a hard-ass drill. It was a hard drill. And he starts laughing, and I literally felt so uncomfortable. And he was doing this drill and just crushing balls at us, because it was a drill where he would just crush balls and we'd have to dig them, and then we'd have to get 10 in a row. If you play volleyball, it's a pit drill. You know exactly what drill I'm freaking talking about. It's so hard and you're dying afterwards. But we did it with one person instead of 2. So we were doing this drill, And all of a sudden he starts laughing. It's just like, your God can't help you now. Where is your God now? He's not helping you in this drill. Ha 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 ha, like laughing. And I'm just like, oh my God, this dude is psycho. Like, what type of person says or does something like that? Like, I was just like in shock. I was like, I can't believe anyone would ever say that. That is so messed up to ever say that about someone's faith or like say that about someone's God. Like, I would never, ever say anything like that to anyone. And so, yeah, so we were doing that drill and that happened. And that was just like one thing that I was like, okay, that's not okay. Like, I always used to make a joke that he was one of those kids who never got his way as a child. So, like, he would, like, always try to have his way now. And, like, when I went on the visit, he really sold me. Like, and obviously, like, I put no blame on the team for this because, like, when people come on visits, you don't tell them, like, oh my gosh, my coach is a psycho. Like, you do not want to come here. Like, no, you want good players at your school no matter what your coach is like. Like, that's, you know. And so I put no blame on them. They did what they were supposed to do, like, whatever happened. So we had like a book of rules, and this rule book was literally like, I have to say, like 50 pages. And you know what? Rules are great on a team. Rules, expectations, that's awesome to have on a team. You have to have that on a team for people to be like motivated and for people to be like disciplined. For people to be disciplined, you have to have rules and like regulations, whatever your expectations. But these rules were literally insane. Like, when I tell you insane, they were insane. Some of the rules were, if any of your teammates had talked to a certain guy or dated a certain guy, you were not allowed to talk to or date that guy. Okay, when I tell you this campus was small, there's 850 people on campus. Okay, if my teammate dated someone and it was like 2 years ago and they're moved on to someone else, why can't I talk to that person? Like, I just don't get it. Like, I would obviously ask my teammates permission before I would ever talk to like someone that they dated. Like, just as I would expect any of my friends or teammates to do that for me. Like, and like some of these girls, I don't know. It was just like, I just thought that that rule was so ridiculous. Like, why do I have to distance myself from someone that I might actually like be in love with for someone who's already moved on to someone else? Like, that just doesn't make sense to me. And obviously I would never ever like do that, like if they weren't dating someone else. Like, like let's say my teammate had dated this guy like a year and a half ago, but now they're dating someone else. Why is this person like not up for grabs? Like, you know what I mean? And like, obviously you're going to talk to your teammate and be like, hey, listen, like I've kind of been talking to this guy, like I really like them, like I just wanted to talk to you because I know you've dated them and I don't want anything to be weird or cause any tension within the team. And like, if they said no, they're not comfortable with it, you respect their wishes. If they say yes, girl, like go ahead, like I don't care anymore, like okay, that's great too. And like, I think that that's how it should be. Like, that's just girl code. Like, you should always like talk to your teammates or friends before talking to like a guy that they've talked to or like been with or whatever. I always think that that's girl code. And I just think that the coach's rules created a lot of distrust between the team, and that created everyone to snitch on everyone, and like, instead of talking to people first. And you know, I loved my team so much, but I think like the coaches definitely created that distrust and made it an environment where people thought they had to do that. And that is, I don't put that blame on anyone else. A lot of us were so young at the time. Like, confronting someone is so difficult sometimes, and I just think that, you know, they should have came to me first, but like, that's life. It happens sometimes. Another thing that happened, I lived 17 hours away, so I didn't have a car at school because I couldn't drive my car 17 hours. Like, that's just too much for me at the time. I was a freshman in college. So I had to fly home. Plane tickets were very expensive, and most of you know, if you book on like a Monday through Thursday or like a Sunday, it's usually way less expensive to fly than if you book like a Friday, Saturday, and sometimes even Sunday it's more expensive. So I would always book my plane tickets on like a Thursday to like a Monday, which I thought was fine because, first of all, my family is not rich by any means. Like, by any means at all. We are not rich. We are not wealthy. Yeah. So I had to book my plane ticket. It was like a Thursday through, like, it was for like Thanksgiving break, I think. Yeah. It was like a Thursday or Wednesday because Thanksgiving was on Thursday. It was either Tuesday or Wednesday through like, I got home like really late Sunday night. And my coach, in front of the entire team, while we were in a subway, we were talking about Thanksgiving break, how excited we were to go home. I hadn't been home all year. This was my first time going home all year from like, it was like the middle of August. Yeah, it was like August 13th until like November when Thanksgiving was. Like, that's a long time to like not see my family, and like all I could do was FaceTime them. It's not like I could just drive home and see them like a lot of these girls could. So I was so excited to go home and see my family and see my grandpa because I didn't know if it was my last Thanksgiving with him or not. And my coach, in front of the entire team in a subway, this is like a public area, right, inside of a subway, goes, "You booked your flight on a Tuesday? You're gonna miss class? Do your teachers know?" And I'm like, "Yeah, my teacher said like we may or may not have class that Wednesday anyway. So like I'm going to all my classes Tuesday and then leaving like right after class." And he was like, "That's not okay. You cannot miss class." I'm like, "Well, we don't have a test or anything. We wouldn't be doing anything. She puts all the PowerPoints online. Like I can teach myself. Like it's not." It was like an intro to biology class and she put all the PowerPoints online. I didn't even need to go to class. Like, bitch. He freaked out, was such an asshole to me. He was like, "Yeah, you can come to my office and talk to me when we get back and we'll talk about this." And I was like, my flight's already booked. I don't know what you want me to do. I haven't seen my family in months. Like, it was so expensive to fly home. I'm not rebooking it. And he was like, "We'll talk later." And I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Like, that's so embarrassing, first of all. Second of all, I want to see my family." Like, he had no recollection of, like, family, like, no, like, recognition of just, like, family time. And, like, I don't know if, like, he doesn't really have a family or if he just, like, doesn't care. He was just so rude about stuff like that. And I was like, okay. So, turns out, like, all my classes got canceled that Wednesday anyway. And he was like, "You're lucky because I would have made you change your flight." And I'm like, I wouldn't have changed my flight. Like, sorry, dude. Okay, so I changed locations because we have a painter inside. And I just feel, like, really awkward, like, filming. I don't know. Anyway. So, okay, I look like a loser with this sunglasses. I don't even need that, to be honest. So, anyway, the flight. So, yeah, he got mad at me about the flight, and then, so I booked it, like, a month in advance, so we still had, like, a month until, like, Thanksgiving or whatever, but my mom, like, surprised me. So I called my mom, like, sobbing, and I was like, "I want to go home, like, I hate it here. I like my friends, but, like, the coach is such an asshole, like, please, I want to come home, don't make me stay another semester," like, basically begging her to let me transfer, and she's like, "No, you're finishing it, like, 1 year there." And I did. So then, my mom must have, like, that night or the next day, like, booked a flight to come see me because she felt so bad. And so, like, at one of the games, like, she surprised me, so, like, yeah, I'll insert that clip. But, yeah, so that was, like, really nice. But then, like, after the games, we always had, like, spaghetti dinners that our coach would provide for us. And, he said to my mom, which, first of all, this is so disrespectful. Like, you don't say that to, like, another adult. And, like, my mom was older than him, too. So, like, you just don't say stuff like this to another adult. Like, it's so disrespectful and so just, like, rude. He goes, "Hey, can I talk to you for a second?" And, like, there was people around. Like, it wasn't, like, secretive. She was like, yeah. And he was like, next time you book your daughter's flight, don't book it for a day where she has class. And my mom was like, Like, my mom didn't even know. She was so caught off guard. She told me later that she wanted to be like, I'll book my daughter's flights whenever I want things. But like, yeah, so I just thought that was so rude. So basically, spring season came around. I'd been contemplating if I wanted to transfer or not. I knew I wanted to go closer to home. And like, at the time I had a boyfriend, which that's a whole other story time. At the time I had a boyfriend, like a different boyfriend than I do now. And he was coming to Michigan for the summer to play baseball. But he wanted to transfer, like, wherever I transferred. And so he was going to transfer to Saginaw Valley, which is, like, very close to, like, where I go to school. By the way, don't ever do that. Don't ever pick a school based on a boy or a girl. Don't ever do that. That is so, no, don't do it. I was a completely different person than I am now. But like, now I would never do something like that, but back then I would. And so I chose the school I'm at now. But it really wasn't because of him, because I wanted to go. There was like, I really wanted to be close to home. And so I chose where I'm at now, and I love it. I love my coach, like everything. I love all the girls. Like, I've had such a better experience here than I did at my other school. And was looking to transfer, yeah. And so like I texted one of my old club volleyball coaches, and I asked him for some help because like a lot of my club coaches had like connections with like other coaches. So he told me like, try these like 5 schools, whatever. So I did. And, like my I went on like 3 visits. Oh my god, I just dropped my Cheez-Its. Oh my god. Oh, none of them spilled, thank god. Woo! That was almost bad. So I emailed these coaches, right? Went on like 3 visits. It was a really tough decision. I ended up choosing the school I'm at now. 1, because of their business program. 2, because of the coach. 3, the atmosphere. And 4, the opportunities that I would have at the school were 1,000 times better than what I would have had at my other school. There was just really nothing for me there, I didn't think, besides like people, and like I'm not going to stay in one place because of people. Like, I have a future to think about, you know. So anyway, oh my god, there's a bee. No, I'm going to kill it, but I don't want to kill the bees. Okay, anyway, I'm just going to ignore it and hope it doesn't fucking attack me. So, but before I could like commit to a school or like even go on any visits, I had to get released, meaning my scholarship, I had to basically say that I wasn't going to renew my scholarship for next year and my contract, and that my coach, I had to get permission from my coach to be like released from the program, basically. This was the hardest thing that I've ever had to do. Like, certain confrontations I can do, but this was one that for some reason I felt bad. I don't know. I'm really empathetic. I just felt bad for some reason. So I told my coach that I wanted to have a meeting with him and the assistant coach, which they were dating, by the way. So I texted both of them and said I wanted to have a meeting. So I met with them after one of the spring practices, and I went in there and I was like, okay, so I would like to be released, because basically like telling them like I want to transfer because I just don't think here's a good fit for me. It's so far from home. I was like the farthest from home like than any of the girls. And I was like, my family's going through a lot right now and I need to be there for them. And basically what he told me, he was like, well, what is it? And I was like, well, my parents are probably going to get divorced. I feel like I need to be there for my little sisters. I have 2 little sisters. And for my mom. And he was like, well, you know, transferring isn't going to make your parents not get divorced. And, like, you can be there for your sisters all the way from here. And I'm like, but I can't. Like, I need to be able to see them. Like, I missed my sister's first homecoming. Like, I just need to be there for my sisters emotionally. And, like, I need to be there for my mom if she needs help with anything. I need to be able to come home if anything happens. And he was like, okay, what's your other reason? And I was like, well, my grandpa is very sick. He's been sick for a long time. The end is probably coming, which it did about less than a year later. And I was like, and I can't afford to keep flying back and forth. I probably won't be able to afford to fly home for the funeral if something happens. And he said, well, transferring home isn't going to make your grandfather better. I'm not even kidding you guys. He said that to me. Like, that's so messed up. You don't say that to somebody. Like, he was such a cynical and just like mean-hearted person. And I was like, I don't care if transferring home isn't going to make him better. At least I can see him and spend time with him while I still can. Like, what even possesses someone to say something like that? I just don't understand. So he was like, well, I just want to make sure you're making the right decision. Like, how are you going to pay for college? I go, okay, first of all, I get financial aid. Like, I have the means to pay for school. If I really had to, like, pay for my own school, like, I could work 3 jobs and help my mom pay for it. Like, that's just like another rude thing to say. And I go, well, I'm gonna keep playing. And he goes, oh, well, have you contacted other schools? And I go, that's why I need a release, because I have contacted other schools, but they can't really talk to me unless I have a release. And he was like, well, okay, well, I guess we'll get your release then. Are you sure you want to do this? And I was like, oh my god. I was like, yeah, like, I've been thinking about this for a very long time. Like, I'm positive I want to transfer, like, closer to home. Like, I just can't, like, be this far anymore. And he was like, okay. So he got my release. And you'd think that'd be the end of it, right? Wrong. Well, I told all my teammates that I was going to transfer. I, like, personally told all of them. About a week later, one of my teammates told me that he texted all of them, minus me, in a group chat saying, don't hang out with Carson anymore, she's not on the team. Basically wanting them to exclude me. And, like, had a meeting with them about it. And basically said in their meeting that they're not allowed to hang out with me anymore. They can't associate with me because I'm not on the team anymore because I quit. And that was so hurtful because those are my friends. Like, they're not just my teammates, they're my friends. And, like, I'm so far from home, they were more like my family, you know? I mean, they told me that he said that. And they were like, but we told him that we're still going to hang out with you. Like, you're our friend. Like, we wouldn't, like, abandon you. And I was like, yeah, I should hope not. Whenever he would see me, I would be like, hey, coach. And then he would literally look at me, turn around, hey. So petty. So petty. And I was like, okay, first of all, that is so unprofessional. And, like, he ended up getting fired about a year later. It was the next spring that he got fired, I'm pretty sure, because, like, 4 other girls quit. And like 2 weeks after I decided to transfer, my roommate actually quit, and then like 2 weeks after that, or 2 weeks before I decided to quit, one of my really good friends on the team had quit because she said that volleyball was depressing her. Volleyball should not depress you. Like, it should make you happy. That's your passion. I don't know, the fact that a coach can make someone feel that way about something that they love is so, it's terrible. Now he's coaching at another school. I'm praying for every single one of those girls because he is the worst person I've ever met in my entire life, and I would never wish upon my worst enemy to have him as a coach. He was terrible. But yeah, that's the time my coach basically harassed me and made me feel like shit about myself because I wanted to transfer. And if you are wanting to transfer, if you're even thinking about wanting to transfer, do it. Because you know what? Luckily, I had 4 years of eligibility left because I redshirted my freshman year. But like, if you're not happy somewhere, you want your college experience to be good. And you want to be surrounded by positivity, not negativity like that. So, if you're wanting to transfer, I would 100% transfer if you're even thinking about it. Talk to your coach. Hopefully he's not a like mine was. But yeah, thanks for watching. My camera died right when I was doing the outro, so cue the real outro. I almost forgot, but don't forget to like this video and subscribe down below if you watched it. And if you liked it and want more story times, comment, or you're probably my friend, you're watching this because not a lot of people watch my videos, but you can like snap me and tell me like what story you want me to tell, whatever. Okay, peace and love.